Welcome friends. Today we will talk about the nucleus. Now we know nucleus is the most important, most vital cell organelle. And why it is so? Because whatever an organism does, basically it is done by the cell. In cell theory itself we study that the cell is functional unit of life. It is structural unit as well as it is functional unit of life. It means that when we do something, basically it is done by a cell. If I am looking at someone, vision, the activity of vision, it is basically done by my eye, and the eyes are made up of cells. So whatever I do with the help of my eye, I do it with the help of my cells of that eye. So if we try to consider in this way, then we could understand the importance of nucleus, because what we do, it is done by the cell, and what a cell does, it is done by the nucleus. The activities of a cell are governed by the nucleus of the cell. Each and every cell is controlled by its nucleus. Whatever bioprocesses, life processes, metabolic processes, whatever is being done by a cell, it is done as per the orders of the nucleus. It is controlled by the nucleus, and therefore it is said that nucleus is the brain of the cell. Nucleus is the brain of the cell. Nucleus controls what a cell should do. Now this nucleus was, for the first time, it was discovered by Robert Brown. Nucleus was discovered by Robert Brown right in 1831. But at that time, in 1831, he could just study that, discover that there are some dense bodies inside the cell, and these are called as nucleus. The details of the nucleus were studied in late 50s after the discovery of electron microscope, because many things inside the nucleus, it was possible to study them only after the discovery of the electron microscope. So nucleus was discovered by Robert Brown in 1831. Now this nucleus is present in all the cells, eukaryotic cell. We define prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell on the basis of nucleus. Nucleus is the main difference between these two types of cells, even two types of kingdoms. The Monera is a kingdom with prokaryotic organisms, and prokaryotic organisms are those organisms in which the nucleus is not well developed. The nucleus is primitive. In place of a well developed nucleus, only a single circular naked DNA is present in those cells, prokaryotic cells. The cells of bacteria, cyanobacteria, archibacteria, slime molds, they are having a primitive nucleus, or it is not nucleus at all, it is just a DNA, single circular naked DNA. The nucleus is present in eukaryotic cells. What is the nucleus? Well developed nucleus, a true nucleus, it is present in the eukaryotic cell. So here also the eukaryotic cell may have a single nucleus. Most of the cells are having a single nucleus, but there are some cells in which the nucleus may be many, nuclei may be many, and those cells are in some algae. The algae like Botryddium, Wucheria, etc. There are some fungi also. Some algae and some fungi have many nuclei in each cell. The fungi in which the cells are multinucleate are known as cenocytic fungi, the fungi in which there are no flagella and a whole fungus is a single body, fungal body, and there it is multinucleate. So majority of the organisms are having a single nucleus, uninucleate, but there are few organisms like some algae like Botridium or Vaucheria which are having many nuclei in each cell, and some fungi which are cenocytic fungi, they also have many nuclei in a single cell. Now this nucleus is generally present at the center of the cell, but in few cases like the plant cells, in plants there is a large vacuole at the center, so nucleus is lying side by in the periphery of the cytoplasm. It is not occupying the central position, being the vacuole at the center in plant cells, but in majority of the cells the nucleus takes the central position. It is present at the center of the cell. Generally, of course, not a compulsion. Come to the structure of the nucleus. The nucleus consists of four main things. The first is nuclear envelope. Then the second is nucleolus, nucleoplasm first, then nucleolus, and the fourth is chromatin. So a nucleus has four important things in it: the nuclear envelope, nucleoplasm, nucleolus or plural nucleoli, and chromatin or chromosome. We would see one by one. First of all, we would see the nuclear envelope. Here I have shown in blue color, this is the nuclear envelope. I have already drawn the figure, and this is blue colored two lines. They are representing the nuclear envelope. Now this nuclear envelope is consisting of outer nuclear membrane, outer nuclear membrane, then inner nuclear membrane, perinuclear space, and the nuclear pores. See, four things. Nuclear envelope consists of outer nuclear membrane. Now you can see here, this is the outer nuclear membrane. Inner nuclear membrane, this one is the inner nuclear membrane. Perinuclear space, you can see the space in between from here. This is the perinuclear space. Space in between the outer and inner nuclear membrane is known as perinuclear space, and nuclear pores. Now here so many nuclear pores are present. The nuclear envelopes are not continue. Outer or inner nuclear membranes are not continue. Envelope is not continue. At places it leaves the pores. At places it leaves the gaps. Now in these gaps the outer nuclear membrane is in continuity with the inner nuclear membrane. So you can see here outer nuclear membrane continues as the inner nuclear membrane. Now in this nuclear pore, which is a gap, it is not simple pore, it is not simple gap, it is fitted with a complex structure, and that is known as nuclear pore complex. And I have shown here with a red pen, this is the nuclear pore complex. Now this nuclear pore is not a simple pore, it is a complex structure. Something is fitted there which regulates the in and out flow at the nuclear envelope. It regulates the traffic because the nucleus is having so many activities inside it. mRNA synthesis, some other ribosomes are synthesized in nucleolus. So it is a continuous busy and working phase inside the nucleus. So it requires so many materials. Suppose it is a mRNA synthesis, then nucleotides are required there. Now that materials comes from these nuclear pore complexes, and whatever is synthesized inside the nucleus, that goes out from this nuclear pore. Now if these nuclear pores would have been simple pores or just pipe-like structures, then anything which is present inside the nucleus might have gone outside, and anything that is present in the cytoplasm of the cell might have entered into the nucleus. But that is not happening because the nuclear pores are guarded by some complex structures. They are called as nuclear pore complex. Now these nuclear pore complex decide what to let inside the nucleus and what is to be permitted outside the nucleus. So these are not simple pores, they are guarded by certain complex structures which are known as nuclear pore complexes, and that's why the nucleoplasm is maintained inside the nucleus and the cytoplasm is maintained outside the nucleus. Both have fluid-like structures, but they have different enzymes, they have different materials inside them, and this is regulated by the nuclear pores. Otherwise, this nuclear envelope guards the nucleoplasm, it guards the chromatin material inside it, and at places the perinuclear space is in continuity with the endoplasmic reticulum. We know the rough endoplasmic reticulum begins with nucleus. Here you can see in this figure, this is the continuity. The perinuclear space is continued in the endoplasmic reticulum. So the nuclear envelope is the surrounding of the nucleus, it is the guard of the nucleus, it is the protection of the nucleus, and this nuclear envelope consists of outer membrane, inner nuclear membrane, then perinuclear space which is in continuity at some places with the endoplasmic reticulum, and the nuclear pore complexes which guard the nuclear pores. Many or thousands of nuclear pores are present on the surface of nucleus, inside the nuclear envelope. Now this nuclear envelope on its outer side may have some granules which are the ribosomes. Just like the rough endoplasmic reticulum, it also do have some ribosomes on its surface. So protein synthesis is carried out in these ribosomes which are present on the surface. So this is about the first part of the nucleus, and that is nuclear envelope. Now let's discuss about the second thing, and that is nucleoplasm. Second is nucleoplasm. Now this nucleoplasm is just like cytoplasm. Inside the nucleoplasm many enzymes are present, and it is a pool in which the different types of nucleotide materials or the raw material for synthesis of the DNA and raw material for synthesis of the RNA, raw material for synthesis of the ribosomes, all these things are present in this nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm is the fluid-like matrix present inside the nucleus, delimited by the nuclear envelope. Inside it, it is having chromatin. So this is nucleoplasm. The third part or third structure inside the nucleus is the nucleolus. Now this nucleolus was discovered by Fontana. Felix Fontana, an Italian scientist. Felix Fontana, he discovered, it is not looking clear, so Fontana, he discovered the nucleolus. Now this nucleolus is a dense body which is present inside the nucleus. Suppose this is, it is not overlapped by membrane, so such type of a dense structure, densely what you call as colored structure, densely colored structure is present inside the nucleus, and it is known as the nucleolus. One or many nucleus are present, nucleolus, sorry, one or many nucleoli are present in the cells. There are some cells in which 100 nucleoli are also present. Now this depends on the presence of number of nucleolus, depends on the state of protein synthesis. The cells in which there is huge protein synthesis needs more ribosomes, and this is the ribosome factory. Nucleolus is the ribosome factory. So this is nucleolus. Nucleolus is the ribosome factory. Ribosomes are synthesized and manufactured inside this nucleolus. We will talk about it a little bit later. So nucleolus, it is having a very particular structure. Suppose this is the nucleolus. Now here also it is not a continuous layer, and it have chromatin on its outer surface. So this is peripheral chromatin. Nucleolus is not made up of membrane. It is made up of peripheral chromatin, and inside it, it is having matrix. That matrix is again of two types. At the center, the matrix is having fibrils. Amorphous fluid is present and fibrils are present, and towards the periphery, the granules are present. The matrix is divided into two layers. The central layer is having fibrils. It is amorphous in nature and it is having fibrils like this, and the matrix of the nucleolus at the periphery is having granules. So the central matrix is known as pars fibrillosa. Pars fibrillosa, and the peripheral matrix is known as pars granulosa. So nucleolus, which was discovered by Fontana, it is made up of some chromatin material, some DNA, some RNAs, some enzymes are present in it. It is generally attached to the heterochromatin part of the chromatin. Chromatin are the network of chromosomes, thin chromosomes, and at some places the chromatin is dark colored, which is known as heterochromatin. So at such places the nucleolus is attached. It is attached to the nucleolus synthesizing centers of the chromatin, nucleolus synthesizing or organizing centers. They are called as NOS, nucleolus organizing center, part of the chromatin. So on that chromatin part they are attached. There are dense bodies, spherical bodies, which are formed by the chromatin and the DNAs and RNAs, etc. No membrane at all. Now this chromatin material which is present here, it is either peripheral chromatin or integrated. This is integrated chromatin I have shown here. Peripheral chromatin and integrated chromatin, and inside it, it is having matrix which is of pars fibrillosa and pars granulosa type. Pars fibrillosa is present at the center where the matrix is amorphous matrix without granules, and it has some fibrils here, and at the periphery it is fibrous granulosa where granules are present. Now this is nucleolus, which was discovered by Fontana. Nucleolus. Now the function of this nucleolus is a ribosome formation. Now ribosomes need two types of materials. One is ribosomal RNA and another is protein. Any type of protein is not synthesized inside the nucleus. Proteins are synthesized outside the nucleus into the cytoplasm. So whatever ribosomal proteins are needed, those ribosomal proteins enter into the nucleus from these nuclear pore complexes, and the ribosomal RNAs are synthesized inside the nucleus. So ribosomal RNA, it is synthesized, ribosomal RNA, it is synthesized inside the nucleolus. The ribosomal proteins are hired from outside. They are synthesized in the cytoplasm, but they enter into the nucleolus and nucleus, and they come to the nucleolus, and inside the nucleolus the ribosomes are manufactured. They are synthesized. So nucleolus is known as the ribosome synthesizing factory. And that's why I said the nucleoli are more in number when there are more requirement of protein synthesis. When proteins are required in more quantity, naturally ribosomes are required in more quantity, and naturally to synthesize more ribosomes, to manufacture more ribosomes, ribosomal RNAs, and to segregate or to assemble the ribosomes, assemblage of the ribosomes is taking place in these nucleoli. So to assemble the ribosomes and to synthesize the ribosomal RNA, more number of nucleoli are present in the cells like protein secreting cells. For example, pancreas, it is protein secret, continuous proteins are synthesized in pancreas. So more number of nucleoli are present in those cells. So this is about the ribosome, nucleolus. Now the third part of this nucleus, the first one is nuclear envelope, second nucleoplasm, then nucleolus, and the fourth important thing of the nucleus, and the most of all, it is the most important of all, it is chromatin, also called as chromosomes in particular phase. Chromosomes or chromatin. Basically it is chromatin because it is interphase. Nucleus is present in interphase only. In dividing phase nucleus is not present, and when nucleus is not present, chromosomes are formed. So here it is chromatin. The proper word is chromatin. Now these chromosomes are the fibril like thin fibers. These are the thin filaments which are present in the nucleus. This is chromatin. Chromatin are the thin fibers or thin filaments which are present in the nucleus. They are forming a network there, huge amount. Now this, if suppose it is a human nucleus, a single nucleus or single cell in the human beings contains 2 meters DNA. The chromatin is the DNA, packaged DNA is present inside the chromatin, and in case of the human beings 2 meter DNA is present in this single nucleus, and our body is having trillions of cells. So imagine what amount of DNA is present in our body. Each cell means each nucleus, each cell is having a single nucleus, so each nucleus is containing 2 meters of DNA. Now this DNA is packaged with histone proteins, some basic proteins, and it is forming the chromatin material. The DNA is packaged, DNA is the nuclear material. DNA is the nuclear material, and this DNA is packaged inside the chromatin. When DNA is packaged, it becomes chromatin material, and these chromatin, number of DNAs or number of chromatin, number of chromosomes in a cell differs in different organisms. In human beings, 46 chromosomes are present in each cell. So this nucleus, if it is a human nucleus, it does have 46 chromosomes, means chromatin fibers are 46 in number. It is differing. In some cells only 2 chromosomes are present, in some cells 100 chromosomes are present. So it is varying with each organism, but whatever chromatin is present here, it is representing the genetic material. Now I said this is the most important part of the cell because the chromatin material is having DNA inside it, and this DNA contain genes. The segments of the DNA are known as genes. Now genes are everything for us. What we are, how we are, why we are, it is decided by the genes. We, the geneticists, the persons who study genetics, they take DNA as their God, because we don't know whether God is present or not, but we definitely know there is DNA in our cells, and this DNA have its segments, active segments as the genes, and the genes decide our characters, phenotypic characters, genotypic characters, our everything, whatever, my body color, my eye color, hair color, my height, my lifespan, how many years I would live, how would I look, everything, each and every character, it is decided by the chromosomes, by the DNA, and this DNA or its segments are known as genes. Genes carry information from one generation to next generation, that is known as heredity, and this nucleus carries this information because nucleus contains chromatin material inside it. I am going to take a separate video, or going to make a separate video on chromosomes, so we would talk about chromosomes there. Here we would only remember that chromatin material which is present in the nucleus is containing DNA. DNA is the hereditary material. DNA have its active segments known as genes, and genes are everything for us. Genes decide our characters, genes decide size, shape, body, pattern, color, each and everything. It is controlled, it is decided by the genes. Now this chromatin material is again of two types, heterochromatin and euchromatin. Heterochromatin is the part of chromatin where there is dense staining. Staining is very dark and the DNA is not active. It is not in synthesis phase, synthetic phase. So there the DNA is coiled, more coiled, and it is dark color. The stain is dark, so that is known as heterochromatin. Euchromatin part of the nucleus is that part where the DNA is synthesizing. It is active DNA. Something is transcripted on this DNA. mRNA is transcripted on this DNA, and here the DNA appears to be less in quantity because it is uncoiled, and therefore the stain is not dark. So that is euchromatin. Heterochromatin and euchromatin are the terms related with the staining. Dark stain, heterochromatin; less stain or lighter stain, euchromatin. This depends on the coiling of DNA. If DNA is more coiled, then it is inactive. It cannot synthesize or transcribe mRNA, and that is heterochromatin. So basically, coming to the function of this nucleus, prior to that let me revise the structure of nucleus. Nucleus is consisting of four important things: nuclear envelope, nucleoplasm, nucleolus, and chromatin material. Nuclear envelope is the surrounding of the nucleus. It is the boundary of the nucleus. It is made up of two layers. The outer layer is outer nuclear membrane, inner is inner nuclear membrane. They are continuous with one another because at places the nuclear envelope leaves gaps which are known as nuclear pores. These nuclear pores are fitted with some complex structures, nuclear pore complexes. They guard the opening of this nuclear envelope. At in between the outer and inner nuclear envelope, in between the outer and inner nuclear membrane, the perinuclear space is present. This perinuclear space is in continuity with the endoplasmic reticulum at many places. The nucleoplasm is the matrix inside the nucleus, the fluid inside the nucleus. It contains so many enzymes, so many nucleotides. It is a nucleotide pool, and this nucleoplasm is containing chromatin and nucleolus also. Nucleolus, which was discovered by Fontana, is some spherical bodies, non-membranous. It is not made up of membrane. These spherical bodies are made up of chromatin, then the fibrillosa and pars amorpha, the matrix inside it. Then the nucleolus is synthesizing the ribosomes. Then chromatin material, which is also called as chromosome. They are called as chromosomes in dividing phase, or they become chromosomes in dividing phase. The chromatin is containing DNA packaged with some histone proteins, and it becomes a chromatin fiber. This chromatin fiber at the time of cell division coils and recoils, supercoiling, and it becomes chromosome. The thick and dense chromosomes are formed at the time of cell division. Otherwise, when there is no cell division, the nucleus is in interphase, the cell is in interphase. The phase of the cell is called as interphase, and when there is interphase, chromatin material, relaxed chromatin material is present. It is forming a network, and it is containing very large amount of DNA inside it. Many and linear DNAs are present there. So this is about the structure. Chromatin also shows some dense part which is called as heterochromatin, some light part which is called as euchromatin. So this is about the structure of the nucleus. Now let's come to the function of the nucleus. Functionally, the nucleus is very important because it is the center of the cell. Nucleus is the center of the cell. It governs or controls all metabolic activities. It is the center. I would explain one by one. It is the center where mRNA is synthesized. All these are related activities, or protein synthesis, first part of. It is important in ribosome synthesis. And it is the containing the hereditary material. Now we can talk a lot about it. The metabolic activities, how it controls metabolic activities. That is again coming to the mRNA synthesis. All these things are interrelated. So what happens when nucleus want to control anything, all activities, all metabolic activities, all life processes, whatever is going on inside the organism, it is governed by the cells, and whatever is being done by the cell, it is controlled by the nucleus. Now let me explain how it controls the activities of the cell. Suppose the body color, my body color or your body color. In human beings, body color is synthesized, it is decided by the percentage of melanin. Now the melanin is synthesized in a multi-step process. It is called as biochemical process. So multi-step biochemical process is there, and each step from one precursor to another, one thing to another thing. In that way 3 to 5 steps are there, and at each step is governed by some enzymes. What are enzymes? Enzymes are the functional proteins. So whatever melanin need to be synthesized, it is governed, it is a multi-step process, biochemical process, biochemical pathway, and that is governed by few enzymes. So if it is having 5 steps, 5 enzymes are required by it. Now these 5 enzymes are the 5 proteins, functional proteins, and each protein is synthesized by the process of protein synthesis. Now protein synthesis is a process in which one mRNA comes out of the nucleus. Inside the nucleus there is chromatin, means DNA. The DNA synthesizes mRNA, DNA transcribes mRNA, the codons, the nucleotides which are present on the DNA, a particular part of that DNA is selected, and on that mRNA is synthesized. So that mRNA which is synthesized, which is transcribed on the DNA, it is having a particular sequence of the nucleotides which are known as triplets of these nucleotides, they are known as codons. So a coded language is present with that mRNA. That mRNA comes out of the nucleus, it passes through the ribosomes, and accordingly whatever the nucleotide chain sequence is present on that mRNA, as per that sequence, as per that coded language, a particular amino acid chain is synthesized in the ribosome. That amino acid chain becomes a polypeptide chain. It folds itself and takes a particular shape, and we call it as protein. So whether functional proteins or structural proteins or carrier proteins, all types of proteins are synthesized as per the coded language from the nucleus, from the DNA. So whenever a particular pathway needs to be triggered, the DNA synthesizes mRNA, mRNA goes outside and synthesizes the required enzymes, functional proteins. So in this way, every time, now when the reaction needs to be stopped, if sufficient melanin is present, the melanin production is stopped. At that time the genes or the mRNA is not sent out, the protein synthesis is stopped. So in this way, whenever a particular activity needs to be triggered, the enzymes are synthesized by the nucleus. When it needs to be stopped, mRNA production is stopped. So the nucleus governs the biological processes, the nucleus governs the metabolic processes, biochemical pathways, by controlling the production of enzymes, controlling the protein synthesis. Enzymes are the product of protein synthesis. So protein synthesis is the central dogma of all these things, and that is controlled by the nucleus. The material required for protein synthesis, first thing is mRNA, that is present or that is synthesized inside the nucleus where DNA is present, and in this way the nucleus governs all the processes. That's why it is said all metabolic activities are controlled by the nucleus. It controls synthesis of mRNA, transcription of mRNA is done inside the nucleus. It is the central dogma of protein synthesis. Now these ribosome synthesis, as I told, the nucleolus is the ribosome. Actually a ribosomal RNA is synthesized by nucleolus. Proteins are synthesized outside the nucleus, but those proteins enter into the nucleus, and the nucleolus is the center where the ribosomal RNA and the proteins which are taken inside the nucleus, they are assembled into the ribosomes. So ribosomes are synthesized inside this nucleolus. Depending on the need of ribosomes, the nucleoli are many in number. Number of nucleoli depends on the need of ribosomes. Ribosomes depend on the need of protein synthesis. Then heredity. Most important thing, characters are carried from one generation to next generation. This is called as like begets like. So a mango tree always gives rise to new mango tree. It is never forming a banyan tree. Why? A man always gives rise to a man. It is never going to give rise to another creature, another animal. Why? Because whatever present in our body, the information is in the form of genes. So genes are carried from one generation to next generation by this nucleus. Genes are not carried outside the nucleus. Genes are the segments, active segments of the DNA. DNA is present in the form of chromatin inside the nucleus, and therefore nucleus is the carriage of genes. Nucleus is the carriage of hereditary material. Nucleus carries hereditary material from one generation to next generation. This is the most important aspect of the nucleus, most important function of the nucleus. Nucleus bears it bears the hereditary material and it takes it to the next generation. It is not, genes are not carried in any other form. Hereditary material is not carried in any other form. It is carried only in the form of nucleus. So when a cell from one generation to next generation is transferred, it may not have mitochondria, it may not have any other cell organelle, but it should have nucleus. Only nucleus bears the genetic information or the hereditary information, and therefore nucleus is the means of carriage of transfer of hereditary material, genes, from one cell to one generation to another generation, and that is the most important aspect of the nucleus. So here I think we should stop. In our next video we will discuss about the chromosomes in detail. So thank you very much.